have to lead it because these was your topics, so you're gonna lead it. With your, you know what I'm saying, pitch in. But
okay, that's top 10.
First off, welcome everyone to the Old Head Show. It's been a long time. This boy did died to smoke. You know what I'm saying? He got all kind of excuses, but it's okay. We finally back, and it is what it is. So we were talking offline, and we were just having sidebar conversation about who or how do we look or who we look at as the top 10 players in the NBA, right? And we're trying to name the top 10 NBA players and how many of them are foreign in America. Of course, everybody's going to have their own opinion on who's top 10 because it's an opinion based, but we're trying to narrow it down. So as of right now, you can tell me if you agree with them or not. Right now, and people, we just off the top of the head. I'm thinking, let's say Jokic and Edwards, Ford, of course. We're just talking top 10. Jokic, SGA, and Edwards.
Yeah.
Luka.
Yeah.
You said Giannis. I would put Giannis.
Yeah.
I give you Giannis.
Would you say Jalen Brunson on top 10?
Jalen Brunson, no.
Well,
but I will say, I still think KD's top 10. I still think Steph's top 10. That's 7. I think Jason Tatum's still top 10. That's 8.
That's 8.
Who else? I don't know if it's early, but he's showing the signs that I'll put Wembanyama in there probably.
Hell no, I ain't going with that.
You know what I'm saying?
That would I live with everything else, but Wembanyama, no, sir.
He's right on the door, bro. If he's not there
yet, close.
Shit, not to me. I'm not even a third fan. But did he just win Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, that don't make you a top 10 player in the NBA. Ken Wallace won Defensive Player of the Year 4 times. He was never a top 10 player in the NBA.
But Ben Wallace ain't never averaged 20-some points a game either.
Let's see. I ain't gonna say Wembanyama didn't. He must have been injured a lot this year because he ain't on this list.
I want to say like right around All-Star bleed.
Okay, well he must ain't scored enough points. Or excuse me, he might not have played enough games. Yeah. Or whatever the minimum number is to be on this list to be considered. He must not have met that because he ain't on here.
Yeah, I know they shut him down. Who else? So you want to say Wemby out? Okay, that's 8. We still at 8. Said Giannis. Trying to think.
Yeah, I don't know if you consider this guy top 10. You said Jalen Brunson, no. Donovan Mitchell, would you consider him a top 10 player? I'm looking at the scoring list. I'm not saying, that's postseason. My bad. That's why Wemby ain't on there. Okay, I was wondering.
Probably not. I don't know if I'll put Donovan Mitchell there yet. I don't know, bro. That 9 and 10 spot. Well, 9 and 10 numbers, not necessarily spot. Just those 2 picks. I'm trying to think.
What about Book?
Hell no.
You ain't get your boy LeBron?
I think LeBron has slightly fell out of the top 10. I think he may still be top 15, top 20 in the league.
So this is the scoring list.
I'm not a LeBron fan. Let's see who else that could possibly be on that list. Because you got people that got names, but they always injured. Like you say, Embiid, injury prone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when he's not injured, he's hands down a top 10 player when he's not injured.
I agree, but he never play.
True. I think
his list kind of wild.
Before he started getting the injury bug and all those head case, get himself in trouble all the time, I think Ja Morant was a top 10 player.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was on his way. He damn sure ain't no top 10 player right now.
Nah, he damn sure not right now. So I mean, I guess people like Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson, they got cases where they. What
about Karl Anthony Towns? Karl Anthony Towns gave you 24, 12, 3 assists. He only averaged 0.7 blocks. I would have thought he would average more.
I think with Cat, the talent's there. I think he gets a bad rap and a knock from a lot of people, including myself, because his game is just, for lack of better word,
like him because he light skinned.
He's like he's his voice, his tendencies, the way he act.
Don't just say you don't like the man because he light skinned.
It ain't got nothing to do with it being
Let me give you a name. Paolo Banchero. You think he top 10?
I think he can be.
On the
I think
cusp.
he's.
He
I think
missed a lot last year too. He missed a lot of
him
games
and
this
another
past
young
season.
Cade Cunningham. I think Cade can be one, could possibly be one too. He's
Yeah,
knocking on the
he
door.
got.
Knocking on the door.
I agree with you on K. I agree with you on both of them. I think with K, he need to show it over multiple years. You know what I'm saying? Because he had okay rookie year, then he missed a lot of time his second year with injuries, and I think this is his third year this past season. And obviously he had a great year. You know what I'm saying? This past season, 26, 9, and 6. Damn, yeah, 4.5 times. But he had a great season. He had a great season this past season, obviously. But yeah, I think he do it one more time, and he had a really good. He had some moments in that first round playoff series that they had. Is that Brooke Lopez? Oh no, short. All right, so since we wrapping up the undue topic, the just off the dome, that's a foul. Let's talk about what the world want to talk about.
I'm trying to connect to the right internet real quick.
Your favorite rapper. Nah, he ain't even your favorite rapper. That's your favorite dancer. Your favorite dancer, Sean. What's his last name? Sean Combs. Your favorite dancer, Sean Combs.
The Diddler.
He was found not okay. So I may have these incorrect, but he was found not guilty of RICO. Not guilty of sex trafficking. I think it was 2 counts of sex trafficking, or something else. But he got found guilty of, I think both of the things were like forced prostitution, or basically prostitution, something like that. So with whatever knowledge you have of the case, you think they got it right? You agree with the verdict?
Hold on, because I want to make sure we got the ones right that he was found guilty on.
Yeah, prostitution.
You should. Okay. So, to an extent,
it don't matter. 2 out of 5.
Right. To an extent, do I think they got that part right? It's hard to say. He was engaging in sexual, however you want to look at it. Some people want to say misconduct or whatever. I think
he was engaging in prostitution. Yeah, when you hire male escorts, that's prostitution. That's pretty straightforward.
I don't know. I mean, it's because I guess I just look at it because I guess I'm looking at it from the aspect that he's not the prostitute. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm having a hard time with it, I guess, more so than anything.
I think it was. Let me see. Hold on. I'm listening. Go ahead.
As far as the RICO, yes, I definitely think they got that right. I don't think. I always said, like, to me, he was being charged for the wrong things. That if they was trying to do anything, they wanted to get him so bad that they just started lumping in a bunch of different things, in my opinion. So yes, like I've always said, we saw the video of him beating Cassie with the domestic violence, and I was in agreement with the majority of people that wasn't cool, right? But my thing is that she never brought charges up on him, and he wasn't being tried for that. They just want to punish him. People wanted him, the public, I should say, public and the people who stand on that side of don't beat women, just wanted him guilty because of that. They was not looking at of what he was being charged with, and they would just throw away the key. He was doing this, doing that, and I was like, nah, you can't do that. You gotta punish him for what he's did or what he's being charged for, and what you're charging him for isn't enough to put that man in jail for life. That was my understanding with it. So in that aspect, I think they got it right as far as with the things they got kicked out. And I think a lot of things were hearsay. Like that's why they threw out the thing about the arson. Like that was speculative. Like the rumor was always there that he blew up Kid Cudi car, but nobody has come forward and said they saw it. There was no proof of it. So
you don't have to see something for you to get convicted of. But I understand what you're saying.
right.
You don't have to have a witness.
It's hearsay. We don't know. Like it was assumption because he said he would do something, or he said he could have something done.
Yeah, but that's just like people get murdered all the time and they don't have witnesses or video or anything like that, but they have evidence to show that more likely than not this person committed the crime. And I'm not saying that that's what happened in Puff case. I'm just saying in general terms.
But I mean, for me, I'm neither happy or unhappy that he wasn't convicted on everything. I mean, because it doesn't change my life. I'm glad that the man wasn't railroaded, so I'm happy in that aspect that he wasn't just being thrown away. Well, he wasn't found guilty on everything just because they wanted to lock him up. Now, at this point, we're just waiting on sentencing. The prostitution thing, as you was asking about, like, I don't know how I really feel about that because, man, if we're gonna be honest, people deal with that shit on a daily basis.
That don't mean nothing.
It means
It don't mean nothing.
to me it do. You ask me my opinion. To me it do.
How? Tell me how.
Prostitution is one of the oldest trades that's been going on for history, bro.
That don't mean nothing.
So what I'm saying is you're looking at to make an example of somebody for something that not everybody, but millions of people are doing on a daily basis. You're looking to make an example out of him.
You think Puff Daddy the only person who done got found guilty on transporting prostitutes?
Again, put like this. I'm gonna say no, but I don't know that to be for certain. I don't know. I don't know who's been found guilty for transporting so-called prostitutions or whatever. That's nothing I've ever looked into. So I don't know who's been found guilty for it or not.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, go ahead. Shit.
So, but what I'm saying, even with that, people do that on daily basis. They engage in prostitution. They're flying men. Okay, all right. Let's not all men, but men of means. Men of means. They fly women back in here for trips. They fly them out all the time. They do. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. When you're flying people out to engage in sex, that's technically, as they said, prostitution.
I'm not gonna act like I know the law legally, but my question is: just because everybody else doing it, why does that prevent them? Just because people do it, why does that prevent them, make it wrong for them to charge him?
I'm saying they're trying to make an example out of him with it by using it.
Is it a crime?
A lot of people do.
But I'm saying just because a lot of people do it, don't mean it's not a crime. So hold on. Let me ask you this. So
it's a crime.
So if somebody if Joe Blow get pulled over, he go to jail because his car smell like weed and he got some weed in the car. Mm-hmm. And wherever he is at, it's illegal to have weed. They wrong because other people do smoking weed all the time and they ain't messing with them. That don't make sense.
I don't like the fact that people like to pick and choose when they want to sit on a high and mighty statue. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm sorry, go ahead. My bad.
That's all I'm saying. Like, people pick and choose when they want to say what's good and what's wrong. If we're gonna charge this person with this or we're gonna do that, you're picking and choosing. Like, and that's my thing. My thing is, if you're gonna have one standard, be the same standard across the board.
But you're saying that based on what? What you're saying that based on what?
I'm giving an opinion. I'm just talking about.
I know, but I know you're giving your opinion. You're saying they're picking and choosing, and I'm saying you basing that on what?
People pick and choose when they do things, and when they want to stand on this moral thought, or however you want to look at it.
I guess I don't understand exactly what you're referring to, because I thought you was talking about sort of like prosecutors. But now I feel like you're talking about other people, so maybe I'm confused.
I'm just talking about people in general. I'm just speaking in general at this point. So I'm not talking about.
You must be talking about black people. Black people don't know what the hell they be.
You go.
Yeah, I'm gonna drag a lot of black folks in here today, so y'all can call me all kind of names.
Yeah, we know you're a sample.
Yeah, you can call me all kind of names. I'm gonna drag the hell out of y'all tonight. I'm dragging black folk tonight. And this Diddy segment.
People, I'm not talking about black, white, mix, no race, no nothing. I'm just talking about people. People pick and choose when they want to be on the so-called moral high ground.
What does that have to do with Puff Daddy?
I'm talking about just something simple across the board. Like, you asked me, I forgot the exact way you worded the question, but my thing is what I was saying was, if you're going to stand on that and feel one way about a specific issue, whether it be the prostitution or whatever, be that same way across the board with everybody. Don't be with it just because it's him.
How you know people don't feel that way?
What do you mean? I'm not saying people don't.
But you just said that. I thought maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, because you said people picking and choosing when they want to be on their moral high ground. Okay, what's the connection to the Diddy case?
I'm just speaking on the charge. We talk about the charge and everything. I'm saying some people are okay with with the prostitution thing being okay. They okay with that. But now they want to some are been on their moral high ground because they want to charge Diddy in particular. That's why I was saying like some people was wanting him being guilty because of something else. So it didn't matter what they charged him with. You know what I'm saying? Just because they saw the video of him beating Cassidy, they was like, oh yeah, he did this, charge him for that, charge him for that. Yes, he was guilty of doing something else that you found to be a heinous act. So now you want to use whatever they can charge you with to put him in jail. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna look at prostitution as wrong, not saying that some people don't. There are people who don't think prostitution is wrong, but then saying it's wrong because it's him doing it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I got it. But what does that have to do with the case?
That don't have technically it don't have nothing about the case. You asked me my opinion on it. What I thought about that.
I thought you was talking about. I was talking about the case. You kind of lost me. That's why I kept saying I don't understand what you're talking about. I thought you was talking about the case. I didn't know you was just talking about people flipping and flopping. Nah, hell, I already know that.
That's what I'm saying. So like, that's what I'm talking about. So if I don't, they say it's a crime. I'm assuming it's a crime. So cool. If it's a crime, and y'all said he broke the law because he hired some male escorts. Fuck it, fine. Me personally, because I think people do it on a daily basis. I don't see there should be enough to put a man in jail. That's just me personally.
It's either illegal or it ain't illegal. That's how I'm looking at it.
I'm not debating if it's illegal or not.
I know,
not saying it's not illegal.
But what I'm so do you? Okay, let me make sure I'm understanding. You said with the Puff situation, taking not this. You said you don't think he should have been convicted. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been convicted, but you don't think he should go to jail for prostitution because men of means, transport men or women across state lines or however to engage in sexual activity. So, correct? Is that right?
So in a roundabout way, yes. But what I was trying to say, it wasn't based on him.
I know that. I'm not saying it's based on him. You can take him out of it. I'm just saying in general terms, right? Okay. So, but prostitution is still a crime.
Yeah,
in most states.
Yes, it is.
Not in every state, but most states is a crime.
They say it's illegal, so it's illegal. I'm not tripping on that. Me personally, because I know people do it every day. I'm not saying don't find him guilty for it. I'm saying not lock him up for years and stuff like that. Make him pay his little fine. He already been in jail for almost a year or so. Time served.
But why should I'm not saying he should. I'm not saying how much he. Let's just say hypothetically that you can get 5 years for prostitution. Okay. Why? What makes his case so special where he shouldn't get 5? He should get less than 5 years.
Nothing. If that is the judgment for it and that's the rules or however they lay down the law, okay, you got it. That is what it is. He was found guilty for it, give him the 5 years. I'm not saying give him any special treatment. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just looking at it from the aspect, and I'm speaking from the aspect that I know that is something that people do on a daily basis.
That don't make it right.
I think that shouldn't necessarily be jail time. That should be a fine. That should be one of them things that's almost like a misdemeanor, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't know the laws. So I don't know what it carries, the sentence carries, or what can happen. It's just how I'm just looking at it because I know that is something that has always been there. It's always going to be there. You're never going to stop that. It's not going to stop.
That's the same thing.
I'm not saying it makes it right.
You said it almost sounds like you're saying they should get a slap on the wrist because it's always been there, and so many people do it. Which I know is so many people drive drunk.
What I'm saying is whatever they say the punishment is for it, give them the punishment. I just think that in general isn't, in my opinion, shouldn't be something that lock a person up for 5, 10, 15 years. DUIs are a little different because you could possibly end someone's life that way.
You don't.
You can end an innocent bystander's life with DUI.
You don't think you can? Go ahead.
In prostitution, those parties aren't innocent. They or not necessarily.
That's not true. That's not always the case.
Let me finish. What I'm saying, majority of the time, all right, all parties, how many people involved in that situation, know what's happening, unless they was raped or drugged. then that changes everything. But if everybody's going into this knowing what's going on, there's really no innocent people. You know what you're getting into.
It's not about being innocent. It's about committing a crime, number one. Number two, sex trafficking is a big deal. And I'm not saying this is sex trafficking, but what I'm saying is a lot of women get sex trafficked. They get brought into they either get kidnapped and forced to other countries and forced into prostitution, or they get transported to another country under the auspices of you're going to be free or whatever, or they're going to get a job in this country or whatever. But then when they get over there, they get forced into prostitution.
Right.
So prostitution ain't always just as simple as, well, everybody in here, you didn't get raped and you ain't drugged, so you're a consenting adult. It ain't always like that. So yeah, there are times.
I think you're putting extenuating circumstances.
That's not an extenuating circumstance. That is literally something that happens in the world on a regular basis. That's not like Jeffrey Dahmer is an outlier.
True.
A murderer is not an outlier.
I may have said.
Ooh, Muay Thai.
I may have used the wrong words. Is what I meant. What I was trying to say. I may have used the wrong word. What I'm saying, you're speaking on situations that wasn't this situation. Yes, I agree that there's sex trafficking. I understand there's people who get kidnapped and done and put into that way. I get it. But I'm speaking on in situations like this in his trial right now, where
you said prostitution. First you said it wasn't his trial. Now we.
No. But when I gave my answer, I was speaking on it from the aspect of like that situation, not necessarily his trial, but the situation where him, her, and the other person were all willing participants.
But she didn't already say she wasn't always a willing participant.
But she also said she wanted to do them, but the ones she didn't want to do, she only did them because she didn't want him to go find somebody else to do it. That still makes her a willing participant.
No, it does not. If she said, listen, hold on, man. You can't get up there and change the woman's words.
I'm not changing the words.
She literally said there were times I did not want to do it. I told him I didn't want to do it anymore.
Right.
What does that mean?
But she said that, but you leaving out the rest of that statement too.
No. Yes. If they had text messages, now, I'm not saying that there was not times where, yes, she said that I didn't want to do it, but I did it because I didn't want him, a version of whatever you said. But there were times in there where she specifically said in text messages, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this.
I'm not saying it's not there. I'm saying I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I'm not going to say it wasn't there. What I'm saying is
your ass is going to jail.
Is her saying that she didn't always want to do them, but she did them because she didn't want him to go do it with somebody else. And me hearing that,
and that's why he gives her prostitution.
No, and I think that's some BS anyway too. Her ass should have been held guilty too. That's my opinion.
She didn't do nothing.
In the opinions of a lot of people. Do what?
Yeah, I mean, just because a lot of people have that opinion, don't make it right.
It don't make it wrong.
It damn sure don't make it. Don't get. That's just, I mean, you realize there was a point in time where a lot of people thought black people were less than human. Okay, so that just because a lot of people think it don't make it right.
That was stupid.
It don't matter. It don't matter what it was. It don't matter what it was. A lot of people thought it, and that don't make it right.
Only reason why she wasn't found charged because they gave her dumbass immunity. But needless to say, either way, she is not an innocent person to me. She's not a victim to me, in my opinion. Excuse me. She's a person who took advantage of a situation that was presented to her. And it's just my personal opinion, bro. I've always stated that from the beginning. She's not a victim. She was a willing participant in all the shit that was going on and the things she was doing. She knew exactly what was going on. So, yeah, that's what that is. Let's move on topics.
What's next on the docket? All right, so Deion advocated for a salary cap in college football. Yay, nay?
A salary cap? That's kind of weird. I mean, I don't know if I want to use the term salary cap, maybe, but I think there should be a cap on how much money they throwing at these people or athletes, because as long as there's always people throwing money at them. They're always going to be that. I think to a certain extent, I think both of us agree. You agree with me that there's probably an issue with the transfer portal to a degree.
Nah, I don't got no issue with it.
I think this. Okay. Well, you
We
don't.
can
Well, I do.
piggyback off of that. I'm interested to see what your what issues you have with the transfer portal, just out of curiosity.
Well, it's not necessary. Okay.
Or what you think is wrong with it, whatever.
As far as a cap, I think it should be a cap on. Yeah, I guess in retrospect, yeah, I agree with Dion. There should be something like a cap on how much these kids are being made or can potentially make. Only because college is always it is a business, and I've always been one of the ones saying that the student athletes should be paid something. I think it's gotten out of hand though of how much they're being paid to where it's not even about the college anymore. It's just they're just amateur. Basically, some of these guys are being paid more than actual so-called NFL players. So it's hard to say they're amateurs, but technically they're
disagree
amateur
with
athletes.
that? I would say this: some of those guys, I think they deserve to be making more than some pro athletes, and here's why. Right? Because of their value to that particular university. And I'll give you an example: Texas Tech, which is my alma mater, Red Raiders. You know what I'm saying? I do got on a Purdue hat. I'm a graduate student at Purdue. You know what I'm saying? Check it before you wreck it. But anyways, Texas Tech paid their softball pitcher. She was at Stanford, I believe. Anyways, she got $1 million NIL deal. She came to Texas Tech. Texas Tech made it to the the softball World Series, or whatever the hell they call it in college. Yeah, softball college World Series, I think is what they call it. Anyways, so she now, I don't believe professional softball players make that kind of money, but I can assure you that university made their money back easily. Because here's one thing that we also know. Well, maybe you don't know. I don't know if you do or you're not. One of the things that numbers and analysis will show, that teams that win, that like when you have a national championship or something like that, make it to the national championship, you generally have a bump in enrollment or applications. And I guess that's kind of go ahead, but you generally have a bump in enrollment, which means more money coming into the school. And the longer you go, you may get more advertisement, but generally the more merchandise sales you get, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, for our university, I'm sure that young lady has brought in well over $1 million to Texas Tech University. In terms of hell, you probably can't even, in terms of the advertisement, just by our university going to that, her leading us to the championship game or championship series, just the advertising alone is probably well over $1 million. Well over $1 million worth of advertising alone, just by us going that far. So yeah, I could see how somebody could say a college athlete being paid more than a NBA, than a professional athlete is crazy. But I think that there are times when the college athlete is more valuable to that particular university than a particular professional athlete is to their team.
I don't know, man.
You don't think so?
I mean, it's possible. I'm not gonna say that you're incorrect because I have no idea, but because it's very possible that they could be more important.
I'm not saying more important. They just are more valuable. And when I say value, I'm not necessarily talking about important. When I say valuable, I'm literally thinking in terms of dollar signs. That's it.
Right.
I'm literally talking dollar signs. Just like he was talking about kind of in the Shedeur Sanders, Dion, and Travis Hunter, even though we don't really talk about Travis Hunter. Whatever they paid Dion for at Jackson State, I would be willing to bet, just in advertising alone, he probably tripled that in terms of what he brought into the university. Not necessarily him specifically, but because Dion is there, like if my memory is correct, I don't know if they did every sport, but when Dion came in there, all of a sudden Under Armour started sponsoring the football program, right? And then they got these
At Jackson
upgraded
State,
locker.
I thought they was already being sponsored by somebody. I could be wrong. You might be right.
No, I'm not
I'm not
saying
saying
they weren't sponsored by somebody. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I believe when he came in, basically when he came in, because he was there, everything got upgraded. Not everything. They got these new fancy locker rooms. You know what I'm saying? All these kind of things. And that's what I'm saying. Like him, he may not like in terms of winning. You know what I'm saying? You might not be able to justify. I don't know. My point is that's just my opinion, what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Because now you have so here's the other thing like that, right? So let's say I'm a Texas Tech alumni and I got deep pockets and I say, damn, we just spent $1 million on this young lady and we made it to the championship World Series. Oh, I love my university prosper. How much money we trying to put in our collective? We got one of the biggest I think one of the biggest collectives in general in college, but I know for sure in basketball, right? So now you got other alumni that want to start giving back to the university. So it brings in a lot more money. Like we just gave some 5-star offensive tackle like a $5 million NIL deal. I'm saying I'm talking about Texas Tech. I don't know who the hell he is, but I did read that. But anyway, so you think you would be in favor of a salary cap?
to a certain extent, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think a salary cap gonna really make any difference in college football. It could help. It could help, but I don't think it will because college football was already unbalanced. You know what I mean? I think to me, the purpose of a salary cap, excuse me, is to try to help balance things out in terms of preventing organizations that may be in a better position revenue wise to either generate revenue or maybe whatever. Maybe they got deeper pockets in their in their alumni base or whatever to prevent them from just being able to go out and buy and just be able to outbid every college out there for the best players. But I think that there's already an imbalance in college football, so I don't know how that would help. Could it possibly? You know what I'm saying? Maybe instead of like Georgia, Bama, who else is always Texas, the same? It's because literally every year it's the same 4 or 5 schools in the top 5 in recruiting classes almost every year. You know what I'm saying? So can NIL help that? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll say A&M was one of the top teams this year
In recruiting
recruiting
for football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking college football. I should have said that specifically.
Yeah.
So I mean I could see how you could say that. You know what I'm saying? Help and help it balance it. But all they're gonna do is they're gonna say there's still a guy who's gonna say, well, I would still rather take less money and go play for Bama than go play for, say, I don't know, pick a university that maybe is in a power like hell. There's still gonna be people who say, listen, Texas Tech, that's great. You want to pay me $1 million, but I would rather go take $500,000 to play at Alabama because Alabama got a history. They more like based on that history alone. I probably have a better chance of making it pro, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's just me and my thought. But I mean, I can understand why you would put a salary cap in place. I mean, it does make sense to try to help with some of the balancing out. It does make sense. It could potentially bring more parity to college football. So if it brings more parity and it gives more people, more universities legitimate opportunities to be in the national championship conversation, then I'm all for it.
I'm with you.
What's next? What's next?
Pull the list back up too.
I got it
So
right
we
here.
did. Yeah.
So All right,
Salary
so we
cap.
know the Knicks made it to the conference finals, lost to the Pacers, right? Then they fired their coach, Tom Thibodeau. Then reportedly, because I don't remember if this was ever like if any of the teams ever came out and said they might have. They tried to talk to Houston. They tried to get permission from Houston to talk to Emi Udoka. That ain't how you say that dude's name, is it?
MA.
Yeah. Neil Long old work. They tried to
He's
get
still.
him, and Houston was like, nah, we good. They tried to get the Mavericks to let them talk to Jason Kidd. Mavericks said,
Right.
nah, we good. I think it was one other team, too. I can't
I
remember.
know there was a rumor out there that they were trying to reach out to Don Staley too from South Carolina.
For real? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
They reached out to her.
however many coaches it was a few coaches. And all of them were well known and report. And I feel like Ty Lue might have been one too. I might be wrong about that, but I feel like Ty Lue might have been one. But anyways, they fired their coach, and a lot of times you would think that a team coming off of the season that the Knicks had would already have somebody in mind or have talent. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was something lined up.
Mm-hmm.
But all these organizations told them no. I forget who they talked to. Anyway, they hired Mike Brown. My question to
Okay.
you, majorly, not Mike Brown, sorry. Do the Knicks look stupid?
Looks stupid.
Or whatever word you want to put in there. Does this make the Knicks front office look bad?
I don't know if I would say it make them look bad, but it doesn't make them look like they're in a or they're trying to move the team forward as of right now. Because I don't think there was a reason to fire their coach. I think they have more issues with their salary cap than anything. So I wouldn't necessarily say make them look bad or make them look stupid. I just don't think it was a good idea.
You don't think they should have fired Tibbs?
Nah, I don't think. Especially, I mean, like you said, they were just there. They was right knocking on the door. They've been knocking on the door for the last 2 years now.
Yeah.
They right there. I would have gave them at least another year or two. Now, had you couldn't get me over the hump in like another 2 years, then yeah, make that change.
I'm gonna tell you what
But
I
he's
think.
only been there 2 years though.
I'm gonna tell you, I think Tibbs got fired for the same reason he got probably fired in Chicago.
I'm listening.
There's a perception that he coached like he coached a middle school team. You know, middle school team, they go play by 5 or 6, and the rest of y'all just there in case it's a blowout. You know what I'm saying?
Or somebody get hurt.
Yeah. The Knicks, and it was the same way when he was in Chicago. He gonna play the hell out of his starters, and he gonna play them a whole bunch of minutes, and he ain't gonna go deep in the bench. And you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why he got fired, because at points in the series, you could make the argument that they look tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much you watch the Pacers play. The Pacers play 1,000 miles an hour.
Right.
I mean, like the Pacers, one of them teams that they're one of the few teams I think at any level. I'm gonna just say college and the NBA that will score wide open layups off of made shots.
Mm-hmm.
The other team make a shot, they get a wide open layup on the other end. Not because I'm talking about because they get the ball in bounds. So boom, 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 and next thing you know,
Right.
you got a guy at the coaching line and they land the ball up. That's how they play fast. They play so fast. But I mean, going into that, I'm not gonna say I was surprised the Pacers won, but I thought depth would come into play. I remember I might have said this on that podcast. I could be wrong. But I thought depth would come into play because that's one thing about the Pacers. They have quality depth at probably the most valuable position in the NBA, which is kind of like the 6'6" to 6'8", 6'9" guy that's athletic, can handle it a little bit, can shoot it a little bit. Those wing type guys, they got a lot of depth there.
3-and-D guy.
But yeah, man, I mean, should he have gotten fired? I mean, I don't know. It would have been nice to see for them to kind of like see like what he could do. Like, you know, you go in there and say, hey man, you playing the starters too much. You playing a starter too much. You got to play somebody else, and then give him a full training camp, full off season with Carl Anthony Towns.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, see what that you know, see what that looked like. But I do think it makes the organization look bad. When you come out and you fire your head coach and you don't immediately, not you don't necessarily have to hire somebody right away, but you don't
You don't have a
appear
plan. I agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree with you
you
on that.
don't
It do make you look bad.
appear
You get rid of them.
to have had a plan in place, a successful plan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not that like you interviewed 3 guys, you didn't, and you know what I'm saying, you didn't find the right guy in that group. The guys that you were trying to get to replace him, you couldn't even interview.
They already got jobs.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, even you know what I'm saying, but you know how some schools you can tell like, yo, so and so got a job, but you might be able to talk to them.
You don't really want to be there.
Yeah, but I feel like that don't happen at the pro level. That's more I feel like a college
They
thing.
don't. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that ain't really, you know what I'm saying, God, you know you finna get fired, or you know what I'm saying? I feel like you don't really see guys like, oh yeah, I'm the head coach of the Knicks. I'm leaving here to go be the head coach of the Pacers. You didn't get fired? Nah, I'm just switching. The only guy
Yeah,
who
I'm just
did that
leaving.
was Rick Carlisle, didn't he? Did he get
I
fired or
don't know
they
if he. I don't think
traded
that.
him?
No, he left. He didn't want to be with Luka no more.
Okay. I can't remember if he got fired or I don't remember what happened. But yeah, man, I think they look bad. Poor look on the organization. Hold on, what's this?
Speaking on Indiana, uh, Miles Turner left.
Yep. On a
Oh,
big, nice, fat contract with the who he signed? He signed with
Bucks.
yeah, the Bucks.
Two things, real quick on that. Do you think it helps the Bucks get back to contention to make it to the NBA Finals? Not necessarily win, but just even get there. And how far of a digression do you see it making the Pacers?
I don't think it makes the Bucks a contender. I mean, I don't think they. I mean, I think they got a younger, more athletic version of Brook Lopez. Essentially, that's all they really did, and basically, that I mean, they went out in the first round. They stretched Damian Lillard, so now they basically back in the same situation when they Chris Middleton's not there, Drew Holiday is not there. So who's your number 2 option then? Who's your number 2 scoring option? You gonna tell me all of a sudden Miles Turner for the average 25 points a game?
Boy, don't even average 20 points a
You know what
game.
I'm saying? So I don't think it really. If that was the move they was hoping that was going to entice Giannis to stay, I don't think that's going to entice him to want to be like, oh yeah, I got to commit here long term, and I want to be here for the rest of my career. I don't
And
think that was it. I think he still need more help um in order to
offensively. I don't know if it's true, but I saw something that floated online that said he wasn't happy that they let Dame leak. They cut Dame though.
yeah, I saw
He
that
wanted to
too.
get
And
back.
I wouldn't be happy either. Hell, Dame was averaging 25. I mean, he did tear his Achilles. He was averaging 25. I think somewhere 25, 26 a night. You know, still shooting it pretty good. I I didn't think that I didn't think that the I didn't think to me from what I saw they weren't fitting very well. I didn't. I don't think it goes. Yeah, I mean time could have been a part of it. I don't think it go to me. It never goes well, or it rarely goes well when you get in situations where you have 2 quote unquote star players and it basically becomes okay, your turn, my turn type of offense.
Mm,
I never think that works out very well. It's just that's just me. I mean there have been some circumstances I'm
everybody.
sure where it's worked out, but I think for the most part it just doesn't work. And you get guys that are trying to be like too nice, and you know I just yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think I'd have to look. We have to sit there and actually really think has it ever worked. But for the most part, there has to be a clear cut. Hey, this is the one who's gonna get the shots, and then you get the backup. I mean, I think the only time that it was somewhat closer, your turn, my turn, it was Shaq and Kobe. But even then, they had to come to a point. Well, Kobe said Phil came to him and was like, "Hey, we gotta let Shaq get his thing, or we're gonna lose him because we're gonna need it."
To the big fella. I was trying.
Yeah,
I
you gotta give
remember
him.
when LeBron first got to Miami, because when he first, I mean, you probably remember this when they all first got to Miami, they started out terrible. They was like 9-8 or some nasty. And I always felt like initially their problem was that same thing. Like you got to determine who gonna be number one.
Right.
Same thing I think with Boston
yeah,
to a certain extent, well, not to a large extent. Like
definitely with
you know
Boston.
what I'm saying?
Well, maybe not so much anymore.
Yeah.
But in previous years, it was like definitely your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. That's why they couldn't get over the
It
hump.
makes for terrible basketball, in my opinion. But no, I don't think I don't think that's gonna get them back where they wanted to. I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis,
Another first round exit.
yeah,
Fuck it.
first round exit. But hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis get traded. I don't think they will. Well, actually, they ain't trading Giannis because they would have to trade Giannis and Miles Turner. I shouldn't say they would have to.
Now they wouldn't have to trade both of them.
Well, I mean, because to me, if you trade Giannis, then what the hell you need Miles Turner for?
In my opinion, what you need Miles Turner for to begin with? He ain't no damn X factor. He ain't moving the needle.
Well, he's a good NBA player though. He fits well with
Is he?
Giannis. Yeah, he's a good NBA player. He's a hell of a defensive player.
I didn't see him show up in the finals.
Well, yeah, that you ain't lying about that. I can't argue with you on that. He didn't do shit in the finals.
On the finals, it looked like there's Pascal Siakam team. He's the man on that
Oh
team.
no! I'm not. I was never trying to insinuate that he was the best player on the team. The pecking order of the Pacers is Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and then Miles Turner, or some. You know what I'm saying? Miles Turner is somewhere in there, but he after Halliburton and Siakam.
I think I've been out on Miles Turner ever since I saw that picture of him sitting on the bench with his legs closed and that pink scarf wrapped around his neck. I was like, he ain't no NBA player to me.
Yeah.
Put that boy on RuPaul's drag
Yeah,
queen
man.
drag show.
It's hard for him to live that one down. Yeah, it's hard for him to live that one down.
I was never sold on him as an NBA player anymore. After that, I was like, nah, this ain't no cat I want on my team.
Yeah, but he's a good defensive player, and he's what a lot of teams would love in a modern big. You know what I'm saying? He can protect the rim. He moves well enough to where he can occasionally switch on the pick and roll, and you can change up some coverages on the pick and roll. He can knock down the three, especially at the top of the key three. So I think he's he's a good pickup. Like I said, if you trade Giannis, to me, if you trade Giannis, you're saying rebuild. So you're gonna have to get off both of them. Or that contract is like pretty much in 2 years that contract might look terrible. To be honest with you.
I think it's gonna look terrible now. What do you think the next step for Dame? Since he's gonna have to find a new team and his contract been stretched out.
Well, that's interesting. Well, presumably he will not play at all next year. He'll spend the whole year trying to rehab and trying to get back. My assumption with him would be, I would think he's going to try to get like maybe like a 2-year deal with a player option for the second one. Because he's older and he's older and he's not a big guy. So teams may be more hesitant to give him big money. You know what I'm saying? KD tore his Achilles and they were like, yeah, we cool. We don't care. They still gave him all that money. I don't think Dame going to have the same luck. So I think you'll see him. You'll probably see, whenever he comes back, I think he'll try to get a 2-year deal with a player option, 15, maybe 20 mil a year, something like that. And then, if he can show that he still got what he got, then he can opt out after that first year and get a big contract. I'm just assuming nobody. If you get stretched, bro, that means I doubt that anybody's willing to pay you big. But I could be wrong. That's what I think will happen with him.
I was having a discussion to a certain extent with a friend of mine who was one of the ones that you had the back and forth with the Celtics fan. Jason Tatum with him. How you say you don't remember that? Yeah, you do. When we were talking about the Olympics and everything.
Bro,
But anyway, Cause that's when we was doing that whole thing with the Olympics, and he was talking about him getting DNPs and all that stuff. But neither here nor there. Him getting stretched, we was having a discussion. I was like, the other team, whoever he signed with, don't have to pay his salary. It's not that salary is not going to affect him whatsoever. That's all coming from Milwaukee. So him getting whatever contract he get is just new money for him.
Yeah.
He was like, he think Dame probably would get like $5-6 million a year, and I'm like, there's no way Dame signs for that. He was like, you think somebody will pay him big money to possibly even pay this year? I'm like, regardless, Dame probably before he signs $5 million, he'll probably sit out there and just rehab.
Yeah, I don't think he's signing nowhere next year.
I mean, I think he's going to get a contract, but I would say more so like you 2 years with the third as a player option.
Yeah, if he signed, I could see if somebody pick him up now, that probably would. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
because he's going to look to be on the team to just get, you know what I'm saying, to stay on the team and then rehab. And that second year is to show that, okay, he's what he still got. So I was like, if he'll sign that 2 with a player option where he's getting paid like maybe 25, he's still getting 12 to 13 mil a year.
I think what you're saying is a reasonable number. I can see him getting 20 or more. And I say that because the two guys that have most recently torn their Achilles have both come back to play fine. Okay, that I can think of off the top of my head. That I could think of, which is KD and Klay Thompson. I may be missing somebody, but those are
Klay didn't come back and play fine. Klay looked like shit.
Well, I'm saying like he's still shooting the ball well.
No, the fuck he ain't.
Yeah, he's still in the high 30s. Like I think he shot 39% last year. Now, yes, I agree with you. He normally shoot like 42 or something like that, but really, if you really look at it, that's like half a 3-pointer a game or 0.2.
I guess for Klay, I'm looking at the fact that how he used to be, like where he can go out there and get you damn near 20 a night.
Yeah, but
where he gonna give you 15 to 20 a night, maybe a little bit more. Now, shit, we'd be lucky some games where if he even hit 10 points.
Yeah, that's true. But I think his situation is slightly different because I think he still came back and played pretty well. But I agree with you. He didn't necessarily return to his pre-injury form, but he also had 2 what could be considered fairly catastrophic injuries back to back in the ACL. True. So I think that to me changes his a little bit. But KD's been fine. He's been hurt a lot. But I think
I don't see him getting 20 something, but I think that 12 to 15 is probably more of a good range. I would think possibly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that number is. I definitely don't think he'll sign for 5 or 6 mil. Yeah, I don't.
Where do you see him possibly going, or who can use him?
Yeah, I have to pull up the NBA roster.
Because I knew at one point in time he wanted to be in Miami, but Jimmy Butler was there. I don't think he would want to be there with that mess now. Possible. I was thinking
he can go back to Milwaukee.
Yeah, he ain't trying to go back there. I was thinking possible Phoenix, but they got rid of KD. Now, that same guy I was telling y'all talking about, he said there was interest in both of them. Well, Dame was looking at going to Boston and getting up there with Tatum and Brown.
Well, he don't know to get his old ass in the way.
I don't know. Well,
yeah, but where he going to live?
I think the problem would be then is because he would take the ball out of Tatum's hands a lot.
That's what. Like, I'm be totally honest with you. This is no knock on Damian Lillard. Mm-hmm. What did he be like? Probably 36 or 37.
No, I don't think Dame that old.
He getting up there. I would take Peyton Pritchard on. I would take Peyton Pritchard on that team over Dame.
Oh, on that team?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not saying Peyton Pritchard is a better player than Damian Lillard. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying in terms of fit.
Yeah, I get
he don't need. You know what I'm saying? Dame been playing the whole career with the ball in his hand. Peyton Pritchard used to just catching and shooting and creating every now and then.
Dame's birthday next week. He'll be 35 next week.
Yeah. So next year, by the time he ready to play, he'll be somewhere between 36 and 37. Oh, yeah, somewhere around 36.
Yeah, but that's what I was telling him too. I was like, Dame probably got another 3 years left in the league and he's gonna be out.
Yeah, so
Because
shit,
he's
he
been in the
might
league
not
since
get no big
2012.
contract at all. I ain't realize. Yeah.
He's been in the league since 2012.
Yeah, shit. Maybe that 5-6 mil starting to sound more reasonable. Yeah.
Nah, he ain't playing for that. I think he'll retire before that.
Shit, and you gotta get them checks as long as you can. Speaking of, you
Man,
mentioned. Go ahead.
he's still finna get 100 some. He's finna get 100 some mil.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting he got stretched. Yeah, he's still getting that pay. He got that
He's still,
Bobby
he's still
Bonilla money.
hey, bro.
He
He still got checks
traveled.
coming in for the next 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna be straight.
Book.
Speaking on money, I see a highway robbery contract extension with the boy Devin Booker, that 2 years for 145.
You don't like that?
In my opinion, Dev is nowhere worth that shit.
You don't think so?
Damn, there's 72 mil a year, bro.
It's the going rate for
Actually,
the
that's over 72.
superstars.
That's almost 73. Hell no, he ain't worth no $73 million a year. If I'm paying somebody money like that, if I'm in life in position to pay people money like that, you have to definitely be a difference maker. I don't need you to be good when you got great players around you. I don't need that. Then I don't need you folding when I need. He's like fucking James Harden. You good regular season, but playoffs come, you fucking disappear. That ain't no $70-some million man to me, bro. Like realistically, I'm trying to think who's in the league that's worth $70 million a year. That's a true difference maker.
I can give you 5.
I can't come up with 5.
I can give you 1.
At best, I can come up with maybe 2. Jokic and SGA. SGA,
you ain't doing the down like that.
Get them damn. Fuck no, Luka ain't getting no $70 million. No. Hell
Say,
no.
maybe if you pay him 70, he could hire a chef and a personal trainer. He come in and shake.
Man, he can get a chef and a personal trainer on what he getting now. He don't want to. He want to drink those Coors Lights. That's what he want. That boy want to build a Michelob's.
Hey, listen, that's that body by turkey cutlet, man. I mean,
but no, bro, like, bro, I know we have us as people as fans on the outside looking in. Like I always say, these guys are making too much money. They make so much money. Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. We looking at it from our simple aspect of what we do in our lives. Those guys are providing a service, they're entertainment, that is their job. So they deserve to get the money they get. Well, however they're paid, whatever they can negotiate is what they get. Now, I do think certain people are getting high contracts just because the market is changing for no reason. When you shouldn't be in that window. That's football and basketball and baseball. It's all you right. 9 times out of 10, it's always next man up. I get it, but bro, at some point, like Shaq said, at some point they're gonna hurt people. They're gonna start putting caps on this shit because you have players who are getting all this money and aren't performing up to the task of what they do or what they're required to do. Shaq's always going that trash ass Rudy Gobert. He was like, bro, you getting all this money, and you are not performing. So for me, Devin Booker getting that money, you ain't performing. I don't want to pay you $70-some million to average 22, 23 points in a regular season, and then come playoffs, I'm a fucking first round exit. And you only averaging on 18, 19 points. Nah, bro, we can't do that. We can't do that. I'm not feeling that.
yeah,
So now I don't think he need that. I didn't think he deserved that extension.
I think like
Damn sure we're finna get on the open market.
I think somebody would have paid him just because, like,
$70 million a year, bro.
yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a number.
Because you got to think about if he'd hit the open market, he's not in a window to get a max extension, right?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah. I mean, I think he would have got that number. You know what I'm saying? You know how sometimes it's like
You have to meet certain standards, like all stars, all pros, all NBAs, and all that stuff, right?
don't have me lying to you, brother. You ain't even act like I know all of them details. But I know what you're talking about. I just don't know the details.
Yeah, like Supermax, you have to do it because like that's how Jaylen Brown was able to get his.
Let's see, what's his?
You know what I'm saying? Because I
He
remember
was on NBA third team. Dang.
That's the issue with they were talking about Luka because Luka had earned his if he would stay with the Mavericks. By them trading him, he's no longer eligible to get it now.
Devin Booker was All NBA first team in 2022 and All NBA third team in 2024. I don't know if that qualifies him.
I don't know if it's still. You said 22.
Yeah, first team in
team?
22 and third team in 2024. I'm not
That
sure
was
what the
3 years ago.
qualifications are.
I don't know how long the window got to be, but if that's the case, then yeah, he would have made it. He would have made it. Me, first team, he would have been in the window. I don't know how far back it go though, but that's a hell of a lot of money, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, bro, because that's just kind of what a maximum die. I think the NBA is gonna cap this at some point. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if when the next CBA, I don't know when it's up, it's gonna be a lockout. I'm willing to bet because these salaries are just going at some point. You know what I'm saying? If they don't get a hold of it, they're gonna have to pay these top players $100 million a year. Not that I care. I don't care how much these folks make. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't got to pay it. Ain't my damn money. But
I care, but it ain't my money. I only care because it hinders the rest of the team. You building your team up, and I'm looking at it from a fan perspective.
Well, not really. It don't because they can only take up like a certain percentage of the salary cap. So the 71 million may look like a lot, but if you look at the size of the salary cap, it may still be like the same as the max contract percentage of the salary cap as it was like 5 years ago. Just the total is higher, or the number you can pay is higher because the salary cap is higher. But like, so 71 million may be the equivalent to like, when was it, like maybe 3-4 years ago, something like that, when Steph signed like a 4-year, $250 million contract. He was like, if my memory is correct, he was like the first guy in the NBA to make 50 mil a year. I think I might be wrong about that. I think, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to keep going up. Like, people will say, it's crazy that SGA makes 71 million and Jordan only made, the most he ever made was 33 million in one season. It's like, salary cap
times
is
are
the problem.
different. So that's not even cause they're not entertaining. SGA, I would say he deserved to get his more so than anything. Like, okay, first team all NBA, you just led the league in scoring, you just became the MVP, you just won the chip. Yeah, you've done the things to get your paper. Devin Booker, you ain't done none of that
Paul
shit.
George, the gift they keep on giving.
Hey man, I'm not putting that on PG because for the simple fact nobody knew what that was gonna be. Nobody
Doc
knew.
Rivers.
Nobody knew what it was gonna
Doc
be.
Rivers.
Doc didn't know what that was gonna be. He didn't. Nobody thought SGA was gonna be who he
Doc
is now.
Rivers. As much grief as Doc Rivers take, I'm gonna give Doc Rivers credit because if my memory is correct, that during that time back then, he did not. If my memory is correct, he didn't want to do the deal because he didn't want to give up SGA. And I could be wrong about that, but that's what I feel like I remember. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I just remember all the draft picks. You good? I just remember they were giving up a whole bunch of draft picks to a lot of picks went different places and whatever. And people was like, oh, they gave up this, and that. They gave up this player and this player. I'm like, bro, they didn't give up players. They gave up picks. Those picks could have easily turned into bust picks that they gave up. It just so happened that some of those picks turned out to fit. The team actually used those picks right and drafted the right players and put the system together to make it actually work and make it look good. Nobody knew it was going to be what it's going to be. Nobody.
Except for SGA.
That's what Vision's history.
Yeah, I agree with you about 99% of that, except for SGA. I'm gonna give Doc Rivers some credit on that one. Let me say this: my memory could be wrong, but that's what I feel like I remember. That it was reported that Doc Rivers didn't want to include him.
He could have saw something from SGA in practice that nobody else was seeing. So he probably could have thought SGA was going to be there. For the outside people, nobody.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Unless, you know what I'm saying?
Same thing like how Mark Jackson did with they go on Steph now. They didn't like Steph and Clay like that. Other people didn't like Steph and Clay like that. He saw that.
Yeah, nobody knew about that but me and Mark Jackson. We was the only two that could see that.
Stop it.
I'm the truth. Y'all got to give me my credit, bro. I'm the truth. I got that glow.
Nah, we ain't got to do that. You didn't know Steph was gonna be that. Like, we all knew Steph could shoot. We saw the clip he was doing when he was in the tournament at Davidson. Cool, but when he got to the league, he couldn't keep them ankles good.
Yeah, for the first 4
When he first got
years.
to the league,
His first
he was
extension with Golden State was 4 years, $44 million.
nobody saw him becoming the greatest shooter to ever touch the ball.
I told you nobody but me.
Man, stop.
Bruh.
At any rate,
NBA
still
Summer
talking on
League.
trades. NBA, your boy. No, we can get to that. We still got KD up.
Oh yeah. Go ahead with the KD thing.
Does he change? Does he make the Rockets better? You think?
Hell no. The Rockets had the second best team. The Rockets had the second best record in the Western Conference. They to me were too young to beat Golden State. That's the only reason they didn't beat Golden State. They just too young.
And they didn't have a legitimate score in the playoffs either.
Shit, they had Seguin, however you pronounce it, that dude could ball.
I'm not saying they had no good players. When they needed a bucket, they didn't have nobody who can go get a bucket.
They would listen.
KD can do that.
They wasn't gonna beat Golden State, even if they had Kevin Durant. They wouldn't beat Golden State.
It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's possible, but you might be right. I don't think he does anything different. I look at Kevin Durant, and I mentioned this in the group chat. If you take away the Thunder, and that was a team that was built by somebody, that was put together, to me, I don't see him. To me, it's just my opinion. I don't feel like he was what I would call a needle mover in Golden State. And what I mean by that is Golden State was going to be what Golden State was regardless of if Kevin Durant went there or not. I think they won 4 championships. I still think they win 4 championships whether Kevin Durant shows up or not. Now, it may have been a lot harder. Well, I'm going to say that. I'm going to give them at least 3. I think they're going to win at least 3.
Don't give them that.
Yeah.
I don't even give him that.
But he ain't, because they won, no, how did they won 4? Did they win 3? No, they won. They won 4. So they won 2 without him.
Yeah, they won 2
so
without him.
I still think that if he don't come, I still think they're going to win at least one other. But that's just, but anyways, my point is to me, he's not a needle mover. Meaning like he is a hell of a player. He gonna get his, like you was mentioning that Houston didn't have a guy that you could just get a ball to in a clutch and he can get a bucket. Yeah, he been doing that for God knows how long in the NBA. So we know he's capable of that. But to me, he's just not he's not a needle mover. He's not a guy to me that you can bring him in and say, oh, this dude can change our franchise. He can change the trajectory of our franchise. Because, in my opinion, now, if you want to give him credit for OKC, I can't take anything away from that. But in my opinion, he has been called upon to try and do something like that twice in his career, and he has not done it. Hadn't even come close. He was called upon to do that in Brooklyn. Now, granted, Brooklyn has some injuries.
I'm saying, but that's been everywhere he's went though. Like it's always been something that happens once he gets there.
Yeah, but still, even still, right? I'm gonna say this, right? There have been injuries in Golden State. As long as Steph Curry's been healthy, the Warriors have made the playoffs.
Okay.
That ain't been the case with Kevin Durant. They didn't make the playoffs last year in Phoenix.
I would say this the first year?
Shit, yeah, but I don't know if did they make it the year before that? They must have.
Yeah. This is probably his first year.
Nah, this ain't his first year not making the playoff. He ain't made. There was that he didn't make it once, I believe, in Brooklyn.
I'm talking as far as when they did make it in Brooklyn.
Nah, I don't think they made it every year. I could be wrong about that though.
Because you remember, because that one year, he was on the verge of beating and winning the series if he just didn't have.
Yeah, that was the year Giannis won the championship.
Yeah, his foot was just a little bit too big.
Yeah, I think that was the only year
he did that on his own. And then after that is when they brought James Harden in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that was the only year they made the playoffs.
No, didn't they made it with James on the first year, right?
Man, I can't even remember. Long story short, he ain't make no run nowhere. But my point is you bringing in a guy like Kevin Durant, you're not bringing him in to lose in the first round. So that's why I'm saying he's not a needle. To me, he has not shown consistently that he is a needle mover. Steph Curry is a needle mover. LeBron James is a needle mover.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna disagree only because they have been. Well, we've never seen Steph outside of Golden State. That's one.
What does that matter?
Because what I'm saying is because you're saying you bring somebody in to be a needle mover. I think he is a needle mover, but he's just been always. Whenever he gets there, they get compounded with injuries. So that changes trajectory, everything. So now he comes from being the person that's trying to take you over the top to now have to be that guy and do everything.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's not a needle mover. Even though Steph ain't played outside of Golden State, true. But he has had teams that you would look at them and say, damn, Golden State don't got a lot. They don't got a lot.
The only time I would say that would be this year.
The last few years. You just said it yourself earlier that Klay Thompson was not the same after he came back from those injuries.
True.
And what happened? As long as Steph was healthy, Golden State still made the playoffs. But you also got to remember. But you still got to remember this, right?
For the most part, the same team that was there that was winning those championships. So you still had Klay, who, even though he wasn't the same person, he was still there. You still had Draymond doing what he was doing at the height of his level. Not saying that he's the greatest player in the league or nothing like that, but he's very good at what he does. You still had Steph at a good clip doing what he did. You still had, I know people going to overlook at him and say, oh, he wasn't doing it, but he filled his role. Kevon Looney was still there playing his role.
Yeah.
You still had your piece. You still had the very real core of those championship teams.
Yeah. Okay. I give you the core, but still, there was times Klay Thompson was injured. Klay Thompson wasn't even on the team last year. They still made the playoffs.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, and you still had Steph, Dre, Looney.
Kevon Looney he's a good role player, but we're not gonna make.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a superstar. I said he fits his role.
But every team can have good role players. But what I'm saying is you have to have Kevin Durant ain't no needle. If Kevin Durant was in Golden State and not Steph, they wouldn't have been making the playoffs still.
I would disagree with that.
Because where has he shown that? Where it was him. It was on him. He ain't done it.
What do you
mean?
When
did he do it? When it was on him. When he was supposed to be the guy stirring the Kool-Aid. Where has he met expectations outside of Golden State?
He was only supposed to be the guy stirring the Kool-Aid in OKC. Even when he got to go.
Okay, so that's my point. He's not a needle mover then. Maybe we are viewing it differently.
We got two definitions of needle mover. A needle mover to me is a person that you bring in that can help get you over to the next level.
But
that's
okay,
a needle mover.
But that could be anybody though. That could be a role player.
No, it's not. Everybody,
It could. It could. It could be a role player.
I would say this. I think a role player could have the potential to do that.
Right, but it could be a role player.
But you have players that you know can do that. KD is one of those players that you know.
I don't know that because I ain't never seen him do it.
Okay, where was Brooklyn before he got there?
Where was Brooklyn before he got there?
Fucking nowhere. They went to the playoffs. They brought Kyrie there, got him in there, and then Kyrie got hurt, and they still was in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they lost in the first round.
Shit, he was. I don't know if it's the first round or not.
Yeah, they lost in the first round.
Okay, even still, but even still, everybody that was on that team that was supposed to be there that he came in to help take them over the hump got hurt. So he had to do that on his own, and he still almost done it.
Almost don't count, man.
True, technically it don't count, but he did his job. He did what he was brought there to do. Everything else just didn't stay intact. Same thing with Phoenix. They went to Phoenix for him to take them over the hump because Devin Booker and them couldn't get the shit done. He got there. What happened? Everybody get hurt. They fired a coach. Everybody get hurt. They start tearing the team apart, bringing Bradley Beal in, and we knew that shit wasn't fit to work. You got too many people who need the ball in their hand.
You're making a lot of excuses. They fired the coach because they wasn't winning. Even when Devin Booker and Kevin Durant was healthy, they still weren't winning.
They didn't win at all, but they was winning. They was in the playoffs.
Did they make the playoffs when he was in Phoenix?
Who?
They made the playoffs that first year he was in Phoenix, or no?
Yeah, they've been in the playoffs.
They didn't make it last year. I know they didn't.
No, they didn't make it. Like, this isn't his first year. That wasn't his second year in Phoenix, though.
It was his
This
second
was
year
his
in
third and
Phoenix.
fourth year in Phoenix. I thought this was like his fourth year.
Hell no. I might be
Third and fourth
wrong,
year.
though. You could be right. I thought he only been in Phoenix like 2 years.
Nah, because Bradley Beal was in Phoenix 2 years.
Well, Bradley
KD was
Bradley
there
Beal
before.
got traded for like in the middle of the season, though. He was only there for one full season. This past year was his first full year, if my memory is correct.
You may be right on that, but I'm just saying I know Kevin Durant was there longer than Bradley Beal. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they ain't made the playoff.
Kevin Durant got to Phoenix in 23, 24, 25. This was his third year.
Was it? Yeah, because he got traded for during the season, didn't he? In 23, is that right?
KD?
Yeah, this upcoming year would be his third year. He been there. Because he got traded there during the 23-24 season, right? Or no? Or was it 22-23 season?
I didn't know. I thought he was there to start the season, but I could be wrong.
I might be wrong too. But anyway, man, I just don't. I mean, I think he's a hell of an individual player. I think he brings great things to the team. You know what I'm saying? What he does is what he does. But if you're looking for one guy to say we can hang our hat on this guy and build around him and he gonna make it happen, I don't think he's as much talent as he has. I mean, realistically, as long as Kevin Durant been in the NBA, how many years have you ever heard really people put him in a conversation as being the best player in the NBA?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For the most part, his career, the NBA been dominated by 3 players, for the most part. Not quite. It's been dominated by Steph, LeBron, and Kobe Bryant. It was Kobe early in his career, then it became Bron, and then it's kind of been Bron. It was Bron and LeBron and Steph for a while, and then now you got the younger guys sort of taking over a little bit more now.
Last thing on the NBA, my Dallas Mavericks and your boy Cooper Flag put up his summer debut. You said you had a lot to say about that.
A few things.
Or you had something to say about
First of all, I know it's a 60-year-old white man out there clapping his ass off. To see a white dude out there hooping in some New Balance, boy, he probably was making he probably had the racist jokes going. Oh, but he was there.
He like, man, we got us one. He like, first we had Kawhi Leonard,
you know what I'm saying?
And we had Jamal Murray. Now we got us a Cooper Flag.
Yeah, man, they probably was happy as hell. Nah, but I think
it's a Stockton Road.
It was I thought this was funny that normally, because I was watching I watched a little bit of Utah play whenever I forgot they got a few different summer leagues before they had the big Las Vegas summer league, a few little shorter ones. And Ace Bailey, his first game, he was like 3 for 13. I think he had like 7 rebounds or something like that. And I was listening to a podcast. And they mentioned he didn't shoot the ball he shot the ball poorly. And after the Mavericks game yesterday, when I think they played last night, I was on ESPN.com. And Cooper Flag was 5 for 21. So at halftime, he was 5 for 15. So he didn't make another shot after halftime. And what do you think the headline of the NBA was? On ESPN. Cooper Flag makes winning plays. I say, boy, if Cooper Flag was black, they'd have just been talking about how he couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. They shot his ass some bail.
He'd have been Kwame Brown. If he black, he'd have been Kwame Brown.
Yeah. Oh, they shot him some bail. They shot him some bail on that one. But no, I thought I saw some good things from him last night. Some things that will get people excited. You know what I'm saying? His ability to rebound. I think that's one of the things that will be really helpful. To me, I always think when you have a guy that's a big that can take the ball off the backboard and push it up the floor and make plays. I mean, I'm not saying he is a guard, but when he get the ball off the backboard, he pushes the ball up the floor like he is a guard. he generally makes smart plays with the basketball. I think he moves the ball well, plays very unselfishly. To me, in my opinion, I think he gives you a little bit of versatility in terms of how you can guard. I'm not sure that he's ready to guard like a guy like Anthony Davis. Like a big who can post up. I don't know that. I don't know that he's ready for that quite just yet. But I think he can give you some versatility in terms of he probably legitimately can guard. I wouldn't consistently want to put him on a smaller, quicker point guard, but I think he can for sure guard 2 through 4, legitimately. And I would feel comfortable switching him on to most guards and most point guards in a pick and roll situation. At least from what I can tell right now. So I think he's gonna be good. Good for the Mavericks. Obviously, he didn't shoot the ball very well, which is, I mean, summer league is kind of summer league. You don't get too high from a guy scoring a bunch of points, and you don't. If he wasn't aggressive and he just looked like crap, then I would be more concerned.
We're gonna see. But while we was talking, we're gonna finish this up. You mentioned AAU, and it goes kind of into your last subject
So
that you want to discuss. You mentioned about youth sports.
yeah, man. So I'm gonna kind of let me start off by saying this. Okay, so I'm not trying to brag or nothing like that, but I have a master's in kinesiology, and one of the classes that I took in graduate school was called Sports and American Culture. Now I will I will say this class was like 20 years ago. It was a long time ago, but
I didn't take that one because my mind is in kinesiology. I ain't
yeah, it was a
class.
long time ago, man. Long time ago, 20 years ago, man. But anyways, during that time, one of the topics we talked about was I forgot what it was called. I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, we was talking about kind of like the racial breakdown for different positions and even some in different sports, and how at the time positions like that would quote unquote people looked at as requiring like more individual skill and more need for skill training and less just specific reliance on athleticism tended to be have a high percentage of players that were white and from the suburbs, right? Because and the theory in the class that we discussed was it was specifically related to finance. So quarterback, right, at that time, when they were less comfortable with letting quarterbacks run or use their athleticism to extend plays and stuff like that, and pitcher in baseball. And then they talked about some other sports, like I believe hockey was one of them. They said, well, they don't play in the inner city because it's too expensive. I could be wrong about that, but that's kind of what I remember. So I come across this, how I came across this topic. I did see what you said. I mean, what you sent with Ken and them talking about it on whatever Gilbert Arena show is called. But I come across this website. I mean, this page on Facebook. Something about they trying to expose some youth basketball stuff in Colorado, blah, 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 whatever. But one of the things they were pointing out is the cost associated with like a youth basketball tournament, right? So let's say for a team to get into a tournament is $400, right? For that team, they play however many games, right? $10, $15 to get into the game. It's pretty fucking expensive, right? Listen, some of these tournaments are really expensive to get into. The most expensive tournament, I will say this. My 16-year-old son plays on the Under Armour Rise circuit. It's they're part of the Under Armour Association. So he's at one of the Under Armour Association sessions right now. And for my wife my wife bought a 4-day pass 4-day pass. It was $86. So that means if I wanted to take, I'm not my oldest son, but if I wanted to take me, my wife, and my other two kids, it probably cost me somewhere between $300 and $350 for admission to get into to watch my son play for 4 days.
Shit, you can watch. You used to come to the comments for free, or you pay
That's what I'm
$3.
saying. It's different. It's different. But anyways, so the question I had was, is sports in general, but I know this is coming up because I think baseball has for a while been considered more of a suburban sport than an inner city sport. Been kind of associated with having money or being able to pay for training, blah, blah, blah. So we'll just stick to basketball. Second.
Said that in them damn travel teams.
So we'll stick to basketball. Hey, basketball is expensive too. I'm telling you, me and my wife are talking about it. Like, I got a friend of mine, they in Philadelphia this week, and then they turn around next week and go to Baltimore for like 4 days. But anywho, so basketball, right? Is basketball becoming more of a sport that favors affluent families or families with money, the suburban kids, and less of the inner city because of the cost and because of the proliferation of trainers? Like, everybody got a trainer now. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but everybody got a trainer, and most people are not doing it for free, and a lot of them ain't doing it for cheap. So you got the cost of trainers. A lot of kids play basketball year round. They playing on these travel teams. It costs money to get on these teams. It costs money for parents to get into these games. It costs, like, my son, my 16-year-old, I think his team has played before the end of this summer, his team will have played 7 tournaments. No, 8. I lied, 8. I think 2 of them have been local. So he's in Atlanta. He's been in Atlanta, Chicago. I think he's been in Chicago twice. He was in Michigan, and he didn't actually go to the tournament in Cincinnati. But do you think that because of the business model associated with basketball now in terms of training, the proliferation of trainers, the cost of these teams, the cost of getting these games, the cost of travel, do you think it's making it more of is bending the game back to where it's becoming more of a suburban benefit? It's more geared for the suburban kids to kind of take over and less for the inner city kids. If that makes sense. I didn't explain that very well at all. I didn't ask that question. I didn't ask that question very well. So take it where you want to.
Right. I never really thought of it like that. It could be. You could have the point, especially with the whole rise of the trainers in the AAU circuit. I don't necessarily want to take it away because you're still going to have kids who's going to come from the inner city who can't afford it, so who's still just going to specifically play what they can play. Right? You're going to always, for the most part, have some teams who will still not. You're not going to have to pay that type of money.
Yeah.
How much exposure they get,
bro, you got to pay that type of money.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, for instance, like, all right, here at the center, we still have like teams like the Comets who's not really charged.
Oh,
like
you talking about teams that playing in like recreation centers? Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah.
Things like this, so you're gonna still always have that available.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They now necessarily get that exposure because even then they still got to get in those tournaments, right? The inner city will still have. It's not. I don't think it's gonna completely just wipe it away. And just make it more about suburban and affluent kids. Because I'll also say who knows where it's gonna go. You still see some of even when you look at in college and basketball, NBA, the better players are still the people who's coming from the tough environments or not necessarily the affluent families, right? I mean, at least from what I see, people like Anthony Edwards not coming from an affluent family. He's not coming from the suburbs. SGA, if I'm not mistaken, didn't come from no affluent family, even though he's from Canada. He still came from a tough upbringing. Jokic came from a tough upbringing. You know what I'm saying? I think Shit, I don't even think who would you name has come from a that we know of that you can think of has come from somewhat like affluent family,
Brandon
or
James,
he's not a top player either. That motherfucker not even a top 100 player in
Steph
the NBA.
Curry, Klay Thompson.
Would you say Clay's from
Hell
affluent?
yeah,
I
his
would give
pops played in the
yeah, true. His dad was in the
NBA.
NBA. I guess you can get him that. But you got him and Steph. But Clay isn't the top player in the league anymore.
They're
Steph
not.
is. He's still
Well,
a
I
top
mean, I
player.
think, but if you look, I
But I
think
get
if
what
you
you're
look
saying, though.
more of like the players that are like coming up now, and I'm talking when I'm saying coming up, like, you know, they barely making it to the NBA and stuff like that. I think a lot of the top high school players right now, you starting to see like juniors. When I say juniors, I mean they pops played in the league. Like I was just looking at something
People like Melo's
that
son.
said,
You got Melo's son. You got Gilbert Arenas' son. That's
yeah, I
coming
just
up.
seen something that said
Who else?
Notre Dame, like they just in one of their recruiting classes got like 5 players that pops played in the NFL. Like Larry Fitzgerald's son, Jerome Bettis' son, I think Plaxico Burrell's son. I can't remember who else.
Yeah, I saw. I think I saw Plax and Bettis'
Yeah,
son go.
that's them.
I didn't know
Them
about
the only 3
Fitzgerald.
I can think of off the top of my head. I thought it was 5 though.
I didn't even know Larry Fitzgerald had a son old enough to be in there like that.
Yeah, I
That's
just
crazy.
saw it on the internet, bro. That could have been a lie. Yeah, I ain't gonna even hold you.
He said it could have been a nigga
Yeah,
movie.
it could have been. I ain't gonna even hold you. Now I could see why. I could see why somebody would say that it is starting to favor more affluent families,
Right.
and people
I do too.
who have this more disposable income. Now you still gonna have the kids who gonna come out the inner city who are like crazy talented, and the shoe company team is gonna pick them up, right? But there's only so many of the top shoe company teams. The rest of them you still got to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my son is on an Under Armour Rise team. It's not the top Under Armour circuit. It's the one down. So we still got to pay. You know what I'm saying? We still have to pay for the travel, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I think it is like even if you think about where the game is going, you know what I'm saying? It's about pace, space, reading, reacting, shooting, 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 shooting. Really, and a lot of people, you got to have access to gyms, and a lot of people believe, not everybody, but people believe that you can make a shooter. Some people believe shooters are born. I don't know which one is true. I couldn't tell you, but I do think that,
It's probably a
yeah,
little both. A
I
mixture of both.
do think that it does help, and it makes a difference, especially in terms of exposure. Right? It was funny that I put this topic up there. My same 16. Well, actually, damn, I keep saying 16. He just had a birthday. He just turned 17. So my 17-year-old son, he was playing with his old team last week in a local tournament, and there's a shoe company team, a Puma team, a Puma organization. And I was looking at the makeup of their team. And I was like, it ain't no way in here that the best kids at all these age levels are white. There's no way. But then I thought about it.
Definitely not.
Now, if you are on the Puma Pro 16 circuit where it's like sponsored and Puma pays for the stuff, that's different. But then Puma has their next circuit below. They got 2 circuits. They got their top circuit. They got the next one. I think it's called uh, NXT, if my memory is correct. Now NXT, you got to pay for everything. Meaning like you're part of that, but you'll get discounted stuff you're paying and blah blah blah. But you got to pay for your travel, et
Mhm.
cetera, et cetera. Right? So that organization, their fee to like if you make a team, I want to say their fee like $1,200, right? So that's and I might be wrong. It might have been 1,000, but it's either 1,000 or 1,200. It's somewhere
Either
between. I
way,
mean, I'm
it's
gonna say
too much.
somewhere between 9 and 12. I think it was 1,000. It might be 1,200. Anyways, a lot of fucking money, right? That's just so. That's when you join an
Just
organization,
to be on
right?
the
That's
team.
when you get offered the role on the team. Now, your parents still got to pay for you to get in the games. Excuse me, they still got to pay to get in the games. The teams are going to travel. They still got to pay for however you're going to get to the travel. I mean, to the games when you travel out of town, hotel, food, blah blah blah. So And a lot of these tournaments, right? These bigger tournaments, stuff like that. That's where the college coaches are going because
Mhm.
in theory, right? So let's say if you play on any shoe circuit, right?
They thinking they getting the best players.
Right. And so they can go. I'm just gonna use the Under Armour Association because that's where my son is out playing right now. I was talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, it's been like there's been upwards of like 40 some odd D1 coaches. Now I'm sure there's probably D2, D3. There's probably all levels, but kids they only seem to care about
All
yeah.
D1.
So he said there's like 40 some odd D1 coaches in there. How does that? Is it easier for an affluent family to get their kids into that?
Definitely.
Because if your child is not on the top team where everything is probably free, or at least my understanding, I could be wrong about that. And you one step down, that means you gotta pay for everything yourself. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So now can a kid that's in the inner city family afford to pay for 5 or 6 tournaments out of town? And a lot of these tournaments are what they call stay to play, play to stay, some shit like that. Where like so I'm using Under Armour on not to promote Under Armour, but that's my experience right now. That's the circuit my son is playing on. So when you go to these Under Armour sessions, the organization sends out links, and you're supposed to stay at these hotels that are like set aside for your organization under the Under Armour Association or whatever hell it is umbrella. So it's not like you can go and be like, all right, I'm gonna go stay. In theory, I'm gonna go stay at a Days Inn or whatever a cheaper hotel is. I don't know, Motel 6. Hell, I don't know. But so yeah, man, it's fucking expensive, bro. And so if you're an inner city kid, maybe you can hoop, right? But maybe you're not necessarily good enough to be at the top, or maybe you don't have it. Because being at the top, bro, let me tell you this: for all y'all out there that's listening, being on the top team is not always just about talent, right? And what I say by that meaning, like, just because the kid is on the EYBL team, don't mean he one of the best players in that state. He might be one of the better players, but let's say he a center. He might not be the best center in the state. I ain't gonna say it's politics involved. You know what I'm saying? You may know him. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the times it is the best, but it ain't always the best. So I just want to point that out. You know what I'm saying? But if your kid ain't on the top team, right, where everything in theory is free, and they on that next level down, or maybe not on the next level down, but they on an independent team that's on a really good independent circuit, like NY to LA, or I heard Made Hoops is really good, but I know or Hoop Looks or something like that, right? Where they don't have they're not associated with a shoe company or anything like that. It's independent. But everything, you know what I'm saying, you come out of pocket, everything. Can you afford to send your child to these big tournaments out of town where it's 3 or 4 tournaments? Because it's 4 live periods between May and July where college coaches can go and watch. Right? It's 4 live periods. There's one in May, there's one in June, and there's 2 in July. So there's one this week in July is one, and then next week is a second one. Right. So can you afford to, that's for Division I coaches, Division I level live periods. Can you afford to send your kid to 4 locations because you can go to tournaments anywhere, right? But realistically, you want to try to go to a tournament where you're going to have the most possibility of being seen by a coach. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, long story short, I could definitely see how people can say it's starting to favor affluent kids a little bit more, and people who come from that background just because of the way that the game is going, and trainers, and the cost of these tournaments, and you know what I'm saying, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, I think it's I definitely could see that.
Well, we both agree that that's pretty much where it's headed to. And then we gonna end on that note. It's the Old Head Show, and we catch y'all in the next go round.
Yeah, homie.
Peace.